Good morning to my second grade class. Today is March 18th, 2020, and it is hump day. So hump day is the middle of the week, so it's Wednesday. I really enjoyed seeing all of your photos that you guys sent on WhatsApp yesterday, and all the doodling that went on, and the Irish step dancing, and there was so much that you guys shared yesterday with a group. It was so nice to see everybody's face and see what everybody's doing, and make that connection with you guys. So thank you for doing that, and keep that coming. I know Miss Mirandino enjoyed it as well. I talked with her a few times yesterday, and we both talked and laughed about the cute doodles and how much we miss you guys. So I wanted to just kind of go over some of the work from yesterday and kind of set you on your path for today. So with the journals, you guys should be finished with 2 of your journal entries. So you should have colored 2 prompts. I wanted to kind of talk about, because we've had a couple of questions. So you guys know that normally in our morning journal, our regular expectation for sentences is 4 complete sentences. Sometimes I'll say 5. Sometimes, depending on the prompt, I won't give you a number of sentences because I've usually broken it up into like 3 sections. And you have to answer 3 different things, and that's kind of all we've asked for the journal prompt for that day. But for these, you need to stick with the 4 complete sentences. And I know that sometimes you can look at this blank sheet of paper and think, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to write about? I have a prompt, so I'm just gonna write 1 sentence. But just like doodling, words are also ways that we express ourselves. And you guys have a lot of words, and you guys love to talk and share your stories with each other at school. So think of journaling as a way to express yourself through words. It's just another art. And what I was going to offer is we started to move into this. We've done this a couple times before, but we just read How to Catch a Unicorn, and we were going to write about how we caught a unicorn, and we started with first, next, then, and last. So that's what you can do in your journal, okay? So you can break it up. So you're going to write your prompt at the top. The wind blew so hard that, and then I've got first, I'm going to have to turn it a little so I can read it. It knocked over a chair on our porch. Then my soccer ball rolled across the yard. Next, my flag on my treehouse fell down. Last, the flowers in the garden looked like they were dancing. Okay, so I pulled some of those words from our word bank, which I have somewhere. Yep, there it is. I pulled the word flower and garden and wind. Okay, but you guys can use any of these words and others that you like to write that story. But why don't we try, if we're having a hard time writing 4 sentences, using first, then, next, and last. Okay? And that is exactly 4 sentences. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that might help kind of get your brain turning and thinking about what happens first, what happens next, what happens last. And that sequence of events will help you write. Okay, so try that today and see if that helps. And then You guys did your coin solve it strip. I hope you guys were able to identify all those coins and add those up. But remember, our rule when we're adding money is to always begin with the coin with the largest value. Okay, so if you have a quarter on that solve it strip, you're going to always want to start with the largest value and then just add on. And when you add the dimes, you're just counting by tens. You're skip counting. And when you add the nickels, you're skip counting by fives. And then when you add the pennies, you're just adding one per penny. Okay? So hopefully that went okay. Let's see what else I've got. All right. The early bird work, seemed pretty easy. I think you guys probably did okay on this. Remember to show your work. And remember, if you don't know how to borrow, which we haven't talked about that yet this year, and if you're subtracting and you're getting a difference, you can still in your mental math subtract that, okay, and come up with an answer. You can use your tally marks if you need to, or draw a picture. All right. Oh, this one was, I know you guys all got that, right? Cone. We've been talking about 3D shapes. So that was pretty neat because we've been doing a lot of that lately. So early bird, I think probably went good. Writing notebook, spelling. I know, spelling. Sorry, guys. I'm still trying to get past this. Some of our spelling packets got switched, and so you might be doing another set of words, but it's okay. As long as you're doing spelling words, it doesn't really matter which packet you're pulling from. So just keep moving forward with whatever your spelling packet you're on, and you're still going to have the Thursday night practice test, and then Friday is going to just be a spelling test that anybody in your family can call out the words to you, and I've put in a sheet in there as a test sheet, and you guys can just write your spelling words, okay? And just keep all that together. Let's see, word work. So you were hunting for verbs. Did you guys find all the verbs? Verbs are action words. So hopefully that went all right. If it's something that you can do or is being done, it's usually the verb. That's the action word. The rest of the math for my math class. We're continuing on with graphing. And the picture graphs were pretty fun, although some of these are kind of hard to draw and they're super small. So, I mean, I even had kind of a hard time getting some of those pictures on there. Just do the best you can. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. The shoes and the flip-flops and the boots. Those are mine. Shoes, flip-flops, and boots. It's okay. It's just, sometimes it's hard to draw those little things. And then the milk carton and the apple juice and the water bottle and the lemonade. Just do the best you can, guys. Okay, really, we're just working on if you're understanding how to read the tally marks and transfer them over into pictures for the picture graph. Let's see. Explain how picture graphs can be more helpful than tally charts. Did anybody come up with a good answer for that? how do picture graphs provide either different information or maybe easier information than a tally mark? So pictures are easier to look at and to count than tally marks, because tally marks are kind of all squished together. And they're easier to read the data that you guys are taking because it's in picture form. So you can look at a picture graph and know maybe more people liked the chocolate chip cookies than they did the sugar cookies, just because you're looking at the graph. So pictures are just easier to read and easier to understand the information that's being offered in the graph. So hopefully that went good. And tomorrow we are going to be, today you guys are going to be talking about adjectives, okay? You're going to be working in your word work with adjectives. We have spent the last few weeks really talking about adjectives. So an adjective is a word that describes, and it's usually describing a noun, but you can also describe other words in a sentence too, okay? So let's do sock. All right, sock is a thing, so it's a noun. So a word that might describe sock is a long sock. Adjective, noun. Adjective is a describing word. Long sock. Fuzzy sock. Warm sock. Okay? What about cow? Cow being an animal. So that is a noun. And I've just got a few cards over here. Angry cow. That's an emotion, but is it describing? Is it a word that describes the cow? It is, so that's an adjective. What about a little cow? Could be a big cow, a tall cow, a short cow. Those are all adjectives. What about a yellow house? So colors are adjectives. Brown house, blue house. These are all describing words. Okay? And let's see. What about a slow whale? Okay? So, in your word work, you're going to be underlining the adjectives and then finding them in your word find. Okay. So the reading notebook for yesterday, again, we're making sure that we're color coding the evidence that we found in our text and color coding it for each question. And I'm trying to remember. I was going to suggest, if you guys wanted to do this, you can, if you want, glue this into your composition book, at least half of it, and maybe fold it in half. That way you can just keep up with it. So I'm going to leave that up to you, but that's an option. You can glue, so it has a line right down the middle, so you can fold it in half after you cut it out, and then you can glue it to your composition book, okay? So I love space and learning about space and astronauts. This was interesting. So I kind of expanded on this a little bit in the true and false. So as you're going through the true and false, one of the questions was, an astronaut is a very trained worker. So that was our first sentence up here. An astronaut, astronauts are trained workers who explore the outer space. So that would have gone in the true section of your chart. And so that led me to do a little bit more research because I was curious to see how much training astronauts really did before they became able to be an astronaut and go up into space. So I looked it up and I Googled it and I found some information. So number one, they have to have a college degree in science or math, some kind of science field or math field. Number two, they have to have at least 3 years experience as a pilot. Okay, so flying some kind of airplane, or a lot of people in the military have experience flying different types of planes. And number three, they have to have 2 more years after that of specific space training. So that's 4-year degree, 3 years as a pilot, and 2 more years of space training. That's 9 years of training that you have to have before you're actually qualified to be an astronaut. And that doesn't mean that you're going to go into space. Only just a select few of people that have gone through all of this training actually get to do that. So that's pretty neat. And then one of the other statements was astronauts need to wear a special suit. And that is true, they do. And so I was wondering what that suit was called. The spacesuit worn for spacewalks is called an EMU, an extravehicular mobility unit. So that big spacesuit that you see astronauts inside of, the helmet and everything's padded and protected and closed off, that's called an EMU. I thought that was interesting. And then over on the false side of your chart, there's plenty of air and water on the moon. And that is not true. There's no air or water on the moon. And that was actually stated in your passage here. There's no air or water on the moon. So astronauts have to bring their own water and oxygen with them. And then one last thing. Neil Armstrong is the second astronaut who stepped on the moon. So I thought, It says in the passage that Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon for the first time. He was one of the first 3 astronauts who were sent to explore the moon and return to the Earth. But Neil Armstrong is actually the third, because Buzz Aldrin was the second, and Neil Armstrong was the third. And I have a picture of, this is Buzz Aldrin, who was the second astronaut. And then below that are the 3 first astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and I didn't research his name. But those are the first 3 astronauts that set foot on the moon. So whenever you're doing any of your work, you can always take it a little further and do a little bit more research and stuff that you're interested in, because you can always find out more information about it. Let's see. Okay, which leads us to Amelia Earhart. So you read through some fun facts today, and I highlighted some that were interesting to me. Sorry, guys. That were interesting to me. One was Amelia Earhart wanted to be the first woman to fly around the world. That was her goal. That was her dream, is to be the first woman to fly all the way around the world. A lighthouse was built in honor of Amelia Earhart on Holland Island. And I actually researched that, and I found a picture of what that lighthouse looked like when it was first built. Isn't that neat? So that is a memorial to Amelia Earhart, because this is actually where Amelia Earhart was supposed to stop in and do a fuel up for her journey, what ended up being her final journey, and she never made it to this island. This is the island that she was supposed to make a stop and get fuel to fly on, and she never made it. They think that her plane crashed in the ocean somewhere before she was able to make it here. So this is a lighthouse that's a memorial to her. And this is when it was first built. And this is what it looks like today. Just because it's weathered, and it was built in 1938, so it's definitely changed over time, but it's still there. I thought it was interesting that Amelia volunteered as a nurse aide in the hospital in Toronto, Canada, and that her mother was known for her adventurous spirit. And her mother, was the first woman to ever climb Pikes Peak in Colorado. So she was very much like her mother, and she loved a challenge and liked to go and explore and do new things. Here's a picture of Amelia in her plane. This was taken right before her last flight. And then I found this picture, and it looks so much like, have you guys colored your Amelia Earhart? If you haven't, just keep working on it. You don't have to, finish it in a day, but I colored mine today. And look at this picture. I thought this looked so much like that picture. Isn't that neat? So here is the drawing, and here is the actual photo. So maybe this drawing was drawn to represent this photo of her. All right. So Miss Marandino is checking in with you guys. A few of you each day, just to see how things are going. And if you have any questions about anything, remember, Mo Willems has a new lunch doodle every day. I'm getting ready to watch, I'm going to watch the one today, and then I'm going to send you guys photos later of our drawings. And I will upload the photos from yesterday onto WhatsApp from myself and from Mr. Edwards, and see what you guys think. All right, you guys take care and have a really good day, and just take time to play and enjoy each other, and run around and do some fun things like doodling and drawing, things that you're interested in, things that you think that you might be good at and you want to try and practice that, or things that you've never tried before. Try some new things right now, and in between your work, and just take this time to enjoy being together as a family. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye-bye.